The Discovery and Defiance. The Galactic Confederation's pride. A fleet of 32 vessels representing 17 species slipped through the darkness between stars like luminous fish in a midnight sea. Each ship bore the distinct architectural hallmarks of its creators. The crystalline lattices of the HFY vessels caught starlight and refracted it in dazzling patterns, while the matte black hulls of the Corveni warships seemed to devour light itself. Among them, the human vessels with their practical, modular designs appeared almost primitive by comparison. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of the Horizon Dawn, Earth's flagship contribution to this joint venture. Her gaze was fixed on the holographic displays, showing the fleet's progress toward the anomaly at the edge of what humans had designated the Cygnus Void, a region of space where stars were impossibly scarce, where light itself seemed dimmer. "Admiral Trigzact is hailing us again," Lieutenant Rivera said from his communication station. "He sounds impatient." Ilara suppressed a sigh. "Put him through." The holographic projection of the Corveni admiral materialized, his carapaced head and multiple eye stalks conveying what Ilara had learned to recognize as irritation. "Captain Chen, your vessels are lagging behind schedule. The Confederation Council expects preliminary findings within the next cycle. We cannot afford human hesitation. With respect, Admiral, we're adhering to standard exploration protocols. The anomaly readings are unlike anything in our shared databases. My science team believes." "Your science team's beliefs are noted but unnecessary," Trigzact interrupted. "The Corveni have been navigating spatial anomalies since your species was discovering fire. Maintain formation and accelerate to designated speed." The transmission cut abruptly. Ilara's jaw tightened. "He's going to get us all killed," muttered Commander Kaida Watanabe, her XO, as he approached with a data tablet. "Our probes are showing increasing quantum fluctuations ahead. Something about this region is fundamentally wrong." Ilara nodded, studying the readings. "And yet we're charging in like it's a parade. Have you shared this with the HFY ships? They usually listen to reason." "I tried. They defer to the Corveni on all exploration matters." "Politics." Ilara spat the word like it tasted foul. 17 species working together, and we still can't escape politics." The Horizon Dawn shuddered slightly, the first indication that they were entering the anomalous region. Around them, the already sparse stars seemed to blur, their light stretching like taffy before snapping back. "All stations, report," Ilara called, instantly alert. "Minor gravitational fluctuations," the sensor officer replied. "Nothing critical yet, but increasing in frequency." Lieutenant Rivera turned from his console, his expression grave. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission." "From the fleet?" "No, ma'am. It's coming from ahead of us. From inside the anomaly." Ilara felt a chill crawl up her spine. "Put it through." Static filled the bridge, washing over them in waves of white noise that gradually resolved into 3 simple words, spoken in perfect English. "Turn back now." Silence fell across the bridge. Ilara exchanged glances with Watanabe. Is it on all frequencies?" she asked. Rivera checked his console. "No, ma'am. Only on human standard communication bands. The message is specifically directed at us. The other ships, they wouldn't have received it unless they monitor our frequencies." Ilara's mind raced. "Send the recording to Admiral Trigzact and the Fleet Command. Request an immediate conference." The conference chamber aboard the Corveni flagship, Unyielding Doctrine, hummed with tension. Representatives from each species stood around the central holographic projector where the mysterious message played on loop. "Turn back now." Admiral Trigzact's eye stalks swiveled dismissively. An obvious human deception. They wished to claim the discovery for themselves. Ilara fought to keep her voice level. "We have no reason to fabricate this message, Admiral. The quantum signatures suggest it originated from within the anomaly itself." "Impossible," declared Scientarch Valerin of the HFY. Our scans show no technological civilization capable of transmission within the anomaly. Perhaps it's not current, suggested Ilara. It could be automated, left behind as a warning. By whom? Demanded Tregzact. This region has been charted before, never explored in depth, but observed. No civilization has claimed it. Captain Durand of the Latari shifted uncomfortably, his feathered crest rippling with anxiety. There are old stories among my people. Tales of regions where reality thins, where things best left undisturbed sleep between the stars. Superstition, Tregzact dismissed, unworthy of this assembly. Ilara leaned forward. The message was in English, Admiral, a human language. Either someone who knows us left it there, or something wanted to communicate specifically with humans. All the more reason to suspect human manipulation, Tregzact countered. My crew detected the message only after we entered the anomaly's outer boundary, Ilara argued. We couldn't have planted it. Perhaps not you personally, Captain, the Admiral conceded with false generosity. But human vessels have traveled near this region before. Perhaps one of your exploratory missions left this breadcrumb to claim a later discovery. Ilara felt her patience wearing thin. I'm suggesting we approach with more caution. Send in additional probes. Analyze the message more thoroughly. The Confederation Council has mandated this expedition, Captain Chen. Tregzact said coldly. Your species is the newest member of our alliance. You do not dictate policy. The Scientarch V. Lurin raised a slender six-fingered hand. Perhaps a compromise. We proceed as planned, but increase our sensor sweeps and defensive posture. Tregzact clicked his mandibles in what passed for a Corvani smile. A reasonable accommodation for our cautious human friends. Now, let us waste no more time. As the representatives filed out, Captain Durand approached Ilara privately. I believe you, human, he said softly. My people have always respected warnings. Prepare your ship. Back aboard the Horizon Dawn, Ilara called her senior staff to the tactical room. They're not listening, she stated flatly. Typical interspecies diplomacy. Acknowledge concerns, then ignore them completely. What are our options? Asked Chief Engineer Dr. Amara Singh. We could claim mechanical issues, fall back. Ilara shook her head. That would only confirm their suspicions about human deception. No, we stay with the fleet, but we stay alert. Dr. Singh, I want emergency jump drives prepped and ready. Commander Watanabe, put us on heightened alert status, but keep it quiet. And the message? Lieutenant Rivera asked. Keep scanning for more. If something's trying to communicate with us specifically, I want to know why. Within hours, the fleet penetrated deeper into the anomaly. The stars outside became even more distorted, stretching into smears of light before disappearing entirely. Navigation became increasingly difficult as spatial coordinates seemed to shift unpredictably. It's like space itself is folding, muttered Dr. Sato from the science station. Conventional physics is breaking down at the quantum level. Ilara was about to respond when alarm klaxons blared across the bridge. Contact, shouted the tactical officer. Massive energy signature dead ahead. The main view screen activated, showing what appeared to be a colossal structure. A sphere of impossible proportions, composed of interlocking geometric patterns that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves even as they watched. It radiated no light of its own, yet somehow stood out against the darkness like a hole in reality itself. Magnification, Ilara ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. The image zoomed in, revealing that the patterns were actually composed of smaller structures. Technology of some kind, but unlike anything human or Confederation scientists had ever encountered. It's rotating, Dr. Sato observed, but not in three-dimensional space. It's rotating through dimensions we can't perceive properly. The communications console chimed urgently. Multiple transmissions from the fleet, Rivera reported. They're all seeing it. And Admiral Trigzact has ordered the fleet to approach and establish standard first contact protocols. Ilara felt a sinking feeling in her gut. He can't be serious. We have no idea what that thing is. The Corvani ship is already moving forward. The tactical officer confirmed. Others are following. Ilara made a quick decision. Match their course but maintain maximum sensor suites. All defensive systems on standby. As the fleet advanced toward the massive structure, a new message arrived, this time on all frequencies, in all languages simultaneously. You were woerend, kan CQENCFOLOS. Before anyone could react, the Corvani flagship unyielding doctrine suddenly stopped. Not slowed, not changed course. It simply ceased all movement relative to the surrounding space. Then, horrifyingly, it began to distort, its hull stretching and compressing as if caught in some invisible vice. What's happening to them? Watnab demanded. Spatial distortion field, Dr. Sato reported, voice shaking. It's like the space containing the ship is being folded. On the view screen, the unyielding doctrine, pride of the Corvani fleet, a vessel over 2 kilometers in length, crumpled like paper, folding in on itself repeatedly until nothing remained but a pinpoint of light that winked out of existence. 3,000 crew, gone in seconds. The bridge of the Horizon Dawn fell silent with shock. Then, chaos erupted as the remaining fleet vessels scattered in panic, all semblance of order abandoned. Multiple distortion fields forming. The tactical officer shouted, "They're targeting the Veshtai ships now." Evasive maneuvers, Ilara ordered. Full power to engines. The Horizon Dawn banked hard, narrowly avoiding the spatial distortion that claimed the nearest Veshtai cruiser. Throughout the fleet, ships vanished one by one, folded out of existence. Lieutenant Rivera turned from his console, face pale. "Captain, we're receiving another transmission. Human frequencies only." "Put it through." This time, the message was longer. "Humans understood. Humans respected de earning. Follow the BACON 20 standard minutes until total QOLAPSA." As if in response, a small point of blue light appeared off their port bow. "It's emitting a quantum signature compatible with our navigational systems," Dr. Sato reported incredulously. "A way out." Watnab wondered. Ilara made an instant decision. Open fleet-wide communications. Channel open. "Attention all vessels. This is Captain Chen of the Horizon Dawn. We're detecting a potential escape vector. Transmitting coordinates now. Follow our lead." She turned to her helmsman. "Follow that beacon. Maximum speed." As the Horizon Dawn changed course, pursuing the mysterious blue light, Ilara could only hope they weren't jumping from one trap into another. Behind them, more ships vanished, folded out of existence by forces beyond their comprehension. The first part of their journey into the unknown had ended in disaster. The warning had been clear. They didn't listen. And now something ancient had awakened. The reckoning and salvation. The Horizon Dawn surged forward, its engines straining as it chased the pulsing blue beacon through the twisted space of the anomaly. Behind them, reality itself seemed to be collapsing, folding inward like a cosmic origami project gone horribly wrong. "Status of the fleet," Ilara demanded, gripping the arms of her command chair as the ship shuddered violently. 7 vessels remaining, Rivera reported grimly. 4 Latari cruisers, 2 Veshtai science ships, and the Morgan research vessel Distant Thought. Less than a quarter of their original strength. Thousands of lives extinguished in moments. Ilara pushed the thought away. Grief would have to wait. Time to coordinate collapse. 17 minutes, Captain, Dr. Sato answered, eyes fixed on his instruments. The rate of spatial deterioration is accelerating. Whatever that structure is, it's consuming the very fabric of this region. The view screen showed a nightmarish tableau. Stars stretched into impossible shapes, light itself seeming to drain away into the growing darkness behind them. The remaining ships followed in their wake, desperately clinging to the escape path the Horizon Dawn charted. "The beacon is accelerating," the helmsman reported, adjusting course to compensate. Commander Watanabe leaned closer to Ilara, speaking quietly. "Do we trust it? This could be leading us deeper into the trap." "We don't have much choice," Ilara replied. "And whatever's guiding us knew to contact humans specifically. There's a connection we're missing." The ship lurched suddenly, alarms blaring across the bridge. Spatial distortion field forming directly ahead. The tactical officer shouted. On the screen, space rippled like disturbed water, a bubble of non-reality expanding in their path. Evasive maneuvers. The Horizon Dawn banked sharply, narrowly avoiding the distortion. Behind them, one of the Latari cruisers wasn't so fortunate. It struck the edge of the field and sheared apart, the severed section instantly folding into nothingness, while the remaining hull spun wildly, venting atmosphere and debris. "We've lost the swift wing," Rivera confirmed solemnly. More distortion fields began to form around them, a deadly maze materializing in what had moments ago been clear space. "The beacon is changing direction," the helmsman reported. It's plotting a course through the distortions." Ilara made another split-second decision. "Stay with it. All power to engines and shields." The Horizon Dawn dove into the gauntlet, weaving between spatial distortions that could erase them from existence with the slightest touch. The blue beacon darted ahead, always just visible, leading them through impossible geometries, where space folded back on itself in defiance of every known law of physics. "Captain," Dr. Sato called out, "I'm detecting a pattern in these distortions. They're not random. They are forming a clear path. Almost like..." "Like what, Doctor?" "Like a test," he finished, "or a filter." Before Ilara could respond, Lieutenant Rivera interrupted. "Incoming transmission, Captain. Same frequency as before." "Let's hear it." A voice filled the bridge, not synthesized, but oddly resonant, as if multiple people were speaking in perfect unison. "UFOLO well. Others, HVFAILET this test. Prepare for transit." "Transit," Watanabe repeated. "Transit to where?" The question remained unanswered as the blue beacon suddenly expanded, enlarging into a swirling vortex of energy directly in their path. "I can't alter course," the helmsman shouted, fighting with the controls. "Something's pulling us in. All hands, brace for impact," Ilara ordered. The Horizon Dawn plunged into the vortex, and emergence was instantaneous. One moment they were surrounded by collapsing reality. The next they were in normal space, stars once again fixed points of light against the void. The ship's systems briefly overloaded, then stabilized. "Report," Ilara demanded, unclenching her hands from the armrests. "We appear to be in a pocket dimension," Dr. Sato said incredulously, studying his readings. "A bubble of stable space-time separate from the anomaly." "The other ships?" "3 made it through with us," Rivera confirmed. "The distant fought, and 2 Latari vessels." The view screen adjusted to show their new surroundings. They were floating in what appeared to be a vast spherical chamber, the walls composed of the same shifting geometric patterns they had observed on the massive structure. At the center floated what could only be described as an impossibly intricate mechanism, rings within rings, spinning in different directions, encircling a core of pulsing light. "Captain," Rivera said, voice hushed with awe, "we're being hailed. It's coming from that mechanism." Ilara straightened her uniform. "Put it through. Visual if possible." The screen flickered, then resolved into an image that caused several crew members to gasp audibly. The figure before them appeared human, an elderly man with dark skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. But subtle wrongness pervaded the image. Proportions slightly off, movements too fluid, skin occasionally shifting like sand in a breeze. "Greetings, descendants," the figure said, its voice the same multi-layered tone they had heard before. You alone heeded the warning, though too late. Ilara stood. "I am Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth vessel Horizon Dawn." "Who? What are you?" The figure smiled, a painfully human expression on a face that was clearly something else entirely. "I am Custodian, last of the precursors, guardian of the fold." The precursors. Dr. Sato stepped forward. "The theoretical first civilization. That's impossible. If they existed at all, they would have vanished billions of years ago." "Time is a construct with little meaning in the fold," the custodian replied. "What you called billions of years, I perceive differently." "What is this place?" Ilara asked. "What was that structure we encountered?" "A prison. A containment facility for that which cannot be destroyed. A hunger from before stars formed. We named it the Void Leviathan." The custodian gestured, and a holographic representation appeared beside it. A vast, shadowy entity composed of what looked like living darkness, with tendrils stretching across galaxies. "It consumes reality itself. It destroyed our civilization when we tried to study it, to harness its power. In our arrogance, we thought we could control the uncontrollable." The parallels to their own situation were not lost on Ilara. And the warning? "We left sentinels, automated systems that would activate when the prison weakened. Your species, humans, you are partially our descendants. Our genetic legacy persists in your DNA, allowing you alone to receive the full warning. But we received it too late," Ilara said grimly. "Yes, the arrogance of the others silenced your voice of caution, a pattern we know too well. Now the Leviathan awakens." Dr. Sato stepped forward again. "Captain, this is consistent with certain anomalies in human DNA that we've never been able to explain. Sequences that don't match Earth's evolutionary patterns." The custodian nodded. "You were seated, protected, guided subtly. We hoped you would evolve differently than we did. Less hubris, more wisdom. Why bring us here?" Ilara asked. "Can you stop what's happening?" "Alone, no. The prison requires recalibration, energy, purpose." The custodian's form flickered briefly. "I am fading. Millennia of maintaining the prison have drained me. But you, with your ships, your technology, you can help restore the containment." "How?" "A sacrifice. Energy to reseal the breach. Not all can survive." A heavy silence fell across the bridge. Ilara exchanged glances with her officers. "You're saying some of us need to stay behind. To die. Not die. Transform. Become part of the prison. Join with me in keeping the Leviathan contained for another age." Commander Watanabe stepped forward. "Captain, I volunteer." "No," Ilara cut him off. "Let's understand exactly what's being asked of us first." She turned back to the custodian. "What happens if we refuse? If we all try to escape? The Leviathan breaks free completely. It will consume your galaxy within a century. Nothing will remain. And if we help, those who sacrifice join with me, becoming custodians. Those who leave will carry warning to prevent this happening again. The prison holds for another 1,000,000 years." Captain Durand of the Latari stepped into view, having apparently been listening to the exchange. "My people have ancient myths of the devourers of stars. We will assist." The Morrigan captain from the distant fort joined them, her pale blue skin luminescent under the bridge lights. "As will we. Knowledge must be preserved. Warning must be carried." Ilara nodded slowly. "What must we do?" The plan was elegant in its terrible simplicity. 2 ships would remain, one Latari vessel and the distant fort. They would position themselves at specific coordinates within the fold, then activate their drive cores in a precisely calculated sequence. The resulting energy cascade would reforge the prison walls, containing the Leviathan once more. The Horizon Dawn, and the remaining Latari ship would carry the survivors back to Confederation space, bearing warning and knowledge to prevent future disasters. As the final preparations were made, Ilara stood in her ready room, staring at the holographic representation of the fold. Captain Durand entered after a respectful chime. "My crew has volunteered," he said softly. "They understand the necessity." Ilara turned to face him. "I'm sorry it came to this." "Do not be. My people have always believed that purpose gives meaning to existence. What greater purpose than saving a galaxy?" The Latari's feathered crest rippled with emotion. "But I must ask, will your Confederation listen? Will they heed the warning this time?" "They'll have to," Ilara replied grimly. "We'll make sure of it." Durand clicked his beak in what Ilara recognized as a smile. "Perhaps this is why the precursors chose humans. You are stubborn." "The ceremony is ready," came the custodian's voice, though the entity was not visibly present. In the vast chamber outside the ships, the custodian had prepared what it called a binding ritual, a process that would link the sacrificing crews to the prison's fundamental structure. Ilara and Durand watched from the observation deck as crew members from the distant fought, and the Latari vessel Dawnwing gathered in formation. The custodian appeared among them, its form more ephemeral than before. As it raised its arms, the geometric patterns on the chamber walls began to pulse with increasing intensity. The volunteering crew members were lifted gently off the deck, their bodies beginning to glow with the same blue light as the beacon that had guided them. They joined the custodians, the entity's voice explained in their minds. Their consciousness, their memory, their purpose, all preserved. They will not die, but transcend. The light grew blindingly bright, forcing Ilara and Durand to shield their eyes. When they could see again, the crew members were gone, but the patterns on the walls pulsed with renewed vigor, and the central mechanism spun with fresh energy. "It is done," the custodian said. "The prison is resealed. You must go now. The path will remain open briefly." As they prepared to depart, the custodian approached Ilara one final time. Its form was more stable now, renewed by the sacrifice. "Carry this warning, descendant. Some doors are closed for reason. Some knowledge comes at too great a cost. Learn what we could not. That wisdom sometimes means walking away." Ilara nodded solemnly. "We will remember." "One more gift." The custodian pressed a crystalline device into her hand. "Our history, our mistakes, our hope for your kind. Use it better than we did." The return journey through the vortex was less traumatic than their entry had been. The Horizon Dawn and the Latari ship Even Star emerged back into normal space at the edge of the Cygnus Void. Behind them, the anomaly was already shrinking, folding in upon itself until it was merely a point of darkness among the stars. "Set course for Confederation headquarters," Ilara ordered. "Maximum speed." As the ships accelerated away, Lieutenant Rivera approached her chair. "Captain, we're receiving transmissions. The Confederation is in chaos. Reports of our fleet's destruction have reached them. They're demanding explanations." "They'll get them," Ilara replied, her voice hard with determination, along with some new protocols about heeding warnings. 3 weeks later, Ilara stood before the assembled Confederation Council, representatives from all 17 member species seated in the vast amphitheater. She had just finished presenting their findings, including data from the precursor crystal that confirmed everything the custodian had told them. "This is difficult to accept," the Veshtai High Counselor admitted. "That our oldest myths of ancient ones might be based in fact. That humans carry their genetic legacy," added the Corvani representative, newly appointed after Admiral Trigzak's loss. "It recontextualizes our relationship." "The evidence is irrefutable," Ilara stated firmly. "But more importantly, it changes how we must approach the unknown." The warning was clear. We ignored it, and thousands died. She activated a holographic display showing the proposed Chen protocols, new exploration procedures requiring multiple verification steps and mandatory withdrawal when facing unknown phenomena with clear warning signs. Never again will we place pride or politics above caution when exploring the unknown, she concluded. Those who sacrifice themselves to reseal the prison deserve that much, at least. The council chambers fell silent as the representatives considered her words. Finally, the eldest member, a Morrigan elder whose species had lived among the stars for millennia longer than humans, rose shakily to her feet. Once, long ago, my ancestors told stories of the star guardians, beings who watched the dark places between worlds. We thought them myths. She nodded toward Ilara. The humans have confirmed what some of us suspected. The universe is far older and stranger than we knew. We would be fools to ignore this lesson purchased at such cost. One by one, the council members signaled their agreement. The Chen protocols would become standard procedure throughout Confederation space. Later, alone in her quarters aboard the Horizon Dawn, Ilara studied the precursor crystal. It glowed softly in her hands, containing knowledge that could transform their understanding of the universe and warnings about powers they were not yet ready to confront. Captain, Watanabe's voice came through the comm system. The Confederation has officially commissioned us to lead the new Precursor Research Division. They want us to investigate other potential containment sites. Ilara smiled faintly. Tell them we accept, but we do it our way, carefully, respectfully. And if we find more warnings, Ilara set the crystal down carefully. Then we'll do what we should have done the first time. Her voice hardened with resolve. We'll listen. Outside her viewport, stars gleamed against the darkness. Beautiful, mysterious. And now she understood, potentially dangerous in ways they were only beginning to comprehend. The last message had said, turn back. Next time, they would heed the warning. But for now, they had a galaxy to protect, not just from ancient threats, but from their own hubris. The lesson had been learned, at terrible cost, but it would not be forgotten.